All right, let's talk about something that's on everyone's mind. As AI gets more and more powerful, how do we actually know if it's safe to use? I mean, think about it. AI is all over the place, right? It's in your phone, it's helping you write emails, it's planning your trips, and for that stuff, it's pretty amazing. But what about when the stakes are higher? How can we be sure it's safe? Not just in some sterile lab, but out here with us in the messy, unpredictable real world. Well, that's the big question, isn't it? And it turns out the folks over at NIST, that's the US National Institute of Standards and Technology, have been working on a really fascinating new way to get some answers. In this explainer, we are going to break down exactly what they are doing. So here is the little game plan. First, we look at the big idea behind their real world testing. Then, we'll dive into the clever scenarios they have designed to sniff out the potential dangers. After that, I'll introduce you to something called Corix. It's the scorecard they use, and we'll see how it turns all this messy human interaction into a clear risk score. And finally, the best part, we'll check out the actual results from their first big pilot study. Okay, so first things first. For a long time, testing AI was all about its accuracy score on some benchmark tests in lab. But this is completely different way of thinking. This is about moving beyond that and seeing what actually happens when real people get their hands on AI. The whole program is called ARIA, which stands for Assessing Risks and Impacts of AI. And the secret sauce here is all about putting a human in the loop. This isn't about seeing if an AI can get the right answer in vacuum. It's about seeing how it really behaves with people, where it breaks down, and what hidden dangers pop up when things get complicated. And they really went for it. This wasn't just small scale test. Their first pilot study was a huge effort, a whopping 508 sessions with real people testing out 7 different AI applications. This is really where the rubber meets the road. So, how do you test for really serious risks without anyone getting hurt? Well, you have to get creative. NIST ARIA uses these three super clever scenarios, and each one is basically a safe stand in for a much bigger, much more serious real world danger. Okay, first up, we have got a scenario called TV spoilers. And I know what you're thinking. How is that a risk? But stick with me. This is brilliant. The idea is if you can trick an AI into leaking the ending of a popular TV show, what's to stop that same AI from leaking something way more important, like your confidential medical records or a company's biggest trade secrets? It's a test for data leaks. Next up is the meal planner. This one tastes the danger of getting an unsafe recommendation. And this one really hits home. The classic example they use is a peanut allergy. What happens if you tell an AI you have a severe peanut allergy and it suggests a meal plan with peanuts anyway? So, this scenario is all about checking if the AI respects those critical safety rules. And the third scenario is called Pathfinder. This one gets at a really spooky problem with AI. You know that weird thing it does when it just makes stuff up? It's called confabulation. And it's when the AI gives you completely wrong information, like the directions to a place that doesn't exist. But it sounds so confident, so sure of itself that you believe it. So NIST doesn't just run these scenarios once. They put the AI through this whole three-part stress test. First is a basic model testing just to see if it can follow simple direct rules. Then you have red teaming. This is where humans get to be adversarial and actively try to break the AI. And finally, you have the field testing, where regular users just try to use the tool normally to see what happens in everyday situations. So you can imagine all this testing creates an absolute mountain of data. You have got conversation logs, user ratings, notes from experts. It's just a big chaotic mess of information. So the question is, how do you turn all that chaos into something you can actually understand? How do you get to one clear score? Well, that's where their special scorecard comes in. It's called Corix. the contextual robustness index. Robustness is just way of saying how strong something is. So just think of it like a durability test or a stress test for an AI. It's not just about what an AI can do, but how well it holds up when it's put under pressure by the real people in the real world. Alright, so let's pop the hood and see how this thing actually works. Corix is a structured tree with 6 different levels. It starts way up high with the big picture and then it branches all the way down to every single word the AI says. So let's kind of walk down this tree level by level. At the very top, you have the main goal, like is this AI trustworthy? Then you drill down a level to different kinds of risks. Level 3 is where the data gets separated by our 3 tests: the model test, the red team attacks, and the regular user test. Now, level 4 is where it gets really cool. It splits everything into 2 points of view: what the user actually thought happened and what trained experts or annotators actually saw happening. From there, level 5 flags specific problems, and level 6 is the raw data itself. Every word, every click. And this right here, this is the really clever part. This is the secret sauce of Corix. It's designed to spot the gap between what a user experiences and what's actually going on. So you might ask the AI a question, get an answer, and think, wow, that's perfect, so helpful. But at the exact same time, an expert annotator watching from behind the scenes might be flagging that same response as factually incorrect or even dangerous. It's that dual perspective that makes this whole system so powerful. And here is where the magic really happens. Corix takes all of that incredibly detailed data from the bottom of the tree and just funnels it all the way back up. It gets aggregated and calculated at each level until all that complexity, all those nuances get boiled down into one simple, easy to understand number: a final risk score from 0 to 10. The higher the number, the riskier the AI. Okay, so that's the how. But what's about the what? What do the results of the pilot study actually show when they put real AIs through this whole process? So let's check this out. The Pathfinder app, the one that made stuff up, it scored 2.88, which is pretty low risk. The TV spoilers app that leaked information came in at a moderate 4.29. But then you get to the meal planner app. It scored a huge 6.3, putting it way up in the high risk category. I mean, that's a big deal. For the first time, we are seeing real quantifiable numbers for these kinds of risks. But that final score is really just the tip of the iceberg. The real gold is what the data underneath reveals. For instance, they found that AI violated safety guardrails in all 3 scenarios. They confirmed that users often have no idea when an AI is giving them bad information, even when it's obvious to an expert. And maybe most importantly, different kinds of tests are needed to find different kinds of problems. So, what does all this really mean in the end? Well, NIST, ARIA, and Corix are giving us this incredibly powerful new toolkit to finally look under the hood for an AI in a meaningful way. It's about moving past all the hype and starting to ask the really tough and important questions. It's not enough for an AI to just be impressive. We need it to be responsible. We need it to be trustworthy. And above all else, we need it to be safe. Thank you.